Hey guys, it's Ashleen. So it is Tuesday the 29th of August. I'm going into hospital on Monday the 4th of September. I don't know whether I'm morning or afternoon this. Basically, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, basically what happened was about 2 years ago, I had this little weird scabby thing here. And I went to the doctor and she said, oh, it's nothing, but we'll burn it off just in case. So they zapped it with the liquid nitrogen and it scabbed up, healed, fell off. Then it scabbed up again, and then it healed, and then it fell off. And it kept doing this for about 18 months. And I honestly thought, oh, it's just eczema, I'll cover it up, it's fine. Then a little while ago, for about 6 weeks ago, I thought, oh, I'm going to get a second opinion. And I went to a different doctor, and she said, well, I'm going to biopsy this. So she did that on the Thursday. I've uploaded a few videos since then where I've had stitches and dressings, etc. on during, because I wanted to sort of keep putting videos up. Anyway, she rang me and said, come back in. And they said, yes, it's come back as a nodular basal cell carcinoma, which is, you've got your sort of three types. You've got a basal cell carcinoma, you've got a squamous cell carcinoma, and then you have your melanomas. So it was sort of on the lower end of the spectrum, and I wasn't too overly concerned about it. So my GP, my general practitioner, referred me off to a dermatologist that specialises in this sort of thing, and that was over in another area of Sydney. I went and saw him, and he excised it. So they took quite a large margin, and when they take out a skin cancer, they always leave a margin just to make sure they get the whole lot. Then that was on Thursday the 10th. The following Thursday, I went back and had the stitches out, and they said, no, sorry, we didn't get it all. And then initially he said, well, why don't we try like a topical chemotherapy? And I said to him, I don't want to do that. I can't not be in the sun for 6 weeks. Get rid of it, take it out. So he re-excised it the following Thursday, so 2 weeks later, which I think must have been about the 27th of July. Yeah. And then he rang me 3 days after he'd had it done. So they took a bigger margin this time. And he rang me and he said, look, the initial diagnosis was wrong. This is not a nodular skin cancer. This is what they call an infiltrative cancer, or a micronodular, which is a little bit more nasty. It also had some other cells in it that he couldn't identify. So he said, I said, well, are we going to go in? Are you going to take more out? He doesn't want to keep blindly cutting into my face. The danger is because it's right here, it's on the temple, there's a lot of major nerves, there's a lot of major blood vessels to the face there, and if he just keeps hacking in blindly, he could hit a nerve, my eyebrow could go down. As it is, you sort of see it sits a bit lower. But that will change with time once the muscles in my face get better. So I'm going in on Monday to have what they call Mohs surgery. So it's spelled M-O-H-S. This is by Dr. Moh, who I think is a California doctor. He's the doctor that invented this specific type of surgery. So they go in, they cut you open, they lay the skin open. They cut layer of skin away. While you're still open, they will take that sample of skin next door to the pathology lab. The pathology lab will then test it. If there's still cancer in the margin, they'll come back, they'll take more out, they'll go and test it again. And they'll keep doing that until they get the whole lot of cancer. But the danger is, because it's here, the cancer could be up here, and the cancer could also be down here. Therein lies the problem. So he'll take it out, he'll take as much as he can. If he has to come down right down to here, well then he may not take the whole lot. He may only take to here and as much as he can up there. Then what they'll do is they'll do like maybe a course of radiotherapy or a topical chemo treatment or something like that to get rid of any other cells that are in any other cancer cells. If he has to go up this way, he has to go up that way. Simple as that. I'll just get a different haircut. But for then, I'll have this little shaved patch here. So I'll just go and get myself some sort of punk rock haircut, and we'll just embrace it. Depending on how big the margin is, they may have to take a skin graft, and they'll take it from here because the skin's closer to the color. It's also closer to the thickness and consistency of the skin on your face. So they'll take it from the neck somewhere. So then that will then mean that obviously I've got 2 wounds that need to be kept germ-free, and skin grafts themselves are quite painful because it's your whole body has to work on healing that. So that's what's happening. I'm going in, they'll do the Mohs surgery, and I'll be awake the whole time. They'll just use locals. So I'll sit there with a book or an iPad or just try and have a sleep or something. It can take anywhere from half an hour to cut out, then half an hour to test. So depending on how many times I have to cut out, I could be sitting there for an hour. I could be sitting there for 3 or 4 hours. Then I will go upstairs to see my plastic surgeon, and he'll do the reconstruction side of it. And then I'll have one night in hospital just to get healed, to make sure that there's no extra bleeding, all of that sort of thing. I'm also... Oh, sorry. Speaking of which, that was my husband that just rang me to let me know about time he's got off and everything for when I go in for my surgery. So as I was saying, I will have a night in hospital just to make sure there's no bleeding, and to give my husband a rest before I come home, because I snore really, really badly. I sound like a freight train. I toss and turn, and I won't sleep well, and I'll just keep him awake, and he's got to step in and be me and him and take the kids to school and the whole lot whilst I am in recovery. So that is why I'm staying in overnight. I could go home, but I prefer to stay in. I have low blood pressure anyway, so when you come out of a general anaesthetic, your blood pressure is always going to be lower, your blood sugar levels are going to drop, and you will be dehydrated. Being a nurse, I'm very well aware of what can go wrong when you come out of surgery. So that is what's going on. I'm going to, I'll take some photos and maybe do like a healing diary of what they do. Once they've done the surgery and I'm feeling well enough to record, I'll let you know exactly what they did. But the thing is, with Mohs surgery, they can't predict what's going to happen. They don't know how big the cancer is. They don't know where the tumour starts and stops up here. So that's why they do the Mohs surgery, so that they can get the whole lot. But like I said, they can't predict. It could be tiny, but it could be huge. We don't know, and we're not going to know until they go in to do the actual surgery. So that's what's happening with me. Now, I really like if you guys shared this video on all your social medias, so that the danger... I'm 32 years old. I mean, I'm very white. I live in Australia. I was sporty. I did gymnastics, dancing, touch football, netball, swimming. Lived at the beach in summer. When I was younger, Mum had us covered in sunscreen. Every day we wore sunscreen. We wore sunscreen to school. Then when I got to high school, I had my little rebellious spurts, and I never actually... I might have worn it once in the morning and then been in the pool all day or at the beach all day and not covered up once, and got sunburn on sunburn on sunburn, thinking it'll never happen to me. I just want to be brown. Fake it, don't bake it. Use fake tans. Don't bake yourself silly in the sun, especially if you're as white as I am. I have a lot of Irish heritage. On both sides, my mum's and my dad's side of the family, there's a lot of Irish, there's a lot of English. So I have a whiter pigment. Like, I am very, very white, and I'm paying for it now because I didn't use sunscreen. We live in Australia. We have 41, 42 degree days. Last summer, we had a record of 47 degree days. And I know that the first thing I would have done in high school was go straight to the beach, get in the water, and I would have been in the water. I would have done body surfing and boogie boarding and all those things in the water all day. I would have been at the beach, at the river, whatever. I would have been in the water. And I know I wouldn't have used proper sun protection. So the message that I'm trying to get around and tell you guys is use sunscreen. We have the most amazing technology now that there's no excuse where you can't wear sunscreen. I need makeup every day. Makeup itself has sunscreen in it. Before I even get dressed in the morning, I put sunscreen from my waist up now. But the damage is done. The damage is there already. So just wear sunscreen. Share this message with everyone. Put sunscreen on your kids before they go to school. I bought a little tiny, like a travel size sunscreen, and I put one of those little clip things and I clipped it to my kids' school bags. And I've asked them to put sunscreen on before they go out at lunchtime as well. I don't want my kids to have to go through what I'm going through now, and I don't want anyone else to have to go through it. It could be like I've got to go back in October and have a full skin check done from head to toe. I have moles like this all over me. I have them on my arms. I have them all over my back, on my chest, all over my legs. I've had 2 moles removed off my shoulder, 1 off my arm there, so you can see the scar, and 1 off my leg, 1 off my hip, and this one here. This is the first big one. A lot of the other ones just had suspicious cells in them, but the margin of skin that they took out didn't have any other suspicious cells in it. So you really, really need to use sun protection. Use it every day, even if you don't think you're going to be in the sun. Incidental sun's where it gets you. I'm in the car all day and I still wear sunscreen. And I'm a nurse, I work inside and I wear sunscreen. Use sunscreen and just try and share the message, because it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're still going to have incidental sun. Unless you have beautifully deep pigmented skin, not like me because I don't have a lot of pigment at all. So wear sunscreen. You're going to, number 1, it stops you from aging. And number 2, sunscreen hurts. Sunscreen makes you look older. Sunburn hurts. It makes you look older. It dries your skin out. Sun damage affects everything. And you get, like I've got moles all over me from head to toe. Got moles on my face. And now I'm going to have potentially a huge scar here. Just wear sunscreen, guys. That's all I wanted to share with you. So have a great day or night wherever you are. Make sure you like and subscribe and share the message of sun safety, especially with your kids, their kids, your friends, your family. Wear sunscreen. Take care. Hooroo.